All right, Saturday night's main event. Let's make this very clear. This main event had a lot of twists and turns in it. It did have some returns. It did have a debut. Yes, I'm saying it. There was a debut. And you're going to say, dude, there wasn't a debut. Yes, there was. And he's going to be mentioned in a few minutes. But it was okay. I'm not going to tell you this was a boring show. It was a good show. It was okay. The steel cage was good. And hopefully, please, the story between Damian and Drew is over and they can do something new with Drew McIntyre. I'm hoping they're not going to go through the same thing, and I'll talk about it some more during the steel cage. But let's make this very clear. The one person there that was the most important that needed to show up was, and I know you're going to say, really? Yes. That was Jesse the Body Ventura. He's the only one that makes the best sense to make Saturday night's main event important. No matter if he sounds good or not. And I know a few people are going to say, dude, you know he's a little slow when he's talking. And when you see him working with the current commentary team and trying to screw with Pat McAfee, saying that I am the only one in history who was doing commentary, went and did a match, and then went back to commentary. He did that. And Pat went to didn't do commentary. He went and did commentary afterward, but he didn't win his match. That's the only reason he got chewed out by a Jesse the Body. But let's make it clear. With everyone that was there, yes, Tatanka showed up. Of course, Jimmy Hart always shows up to this. You did get one of the Bushwhackers. I loved the Bushwhackers as a kid. There was one woman there, I believe. I can't remember her name. I believe she defended her title at WrestleMania 1. Now, I do remember vaguely that there was a woman who was defending her title in WrestleMania 1. Mainly due to the fact that Mom was there, my mother. And I said, Ma, look, there's a woman on screen. She's wrestling. That was like in 83. Oh my gosh, that sounds so fucking old. Ah! I think I was 11 or 12 when that came out. I was 11 years old. I hadn't turned 12 yet. I was 11. Because WrestleMania came in April and my birthday was in July. So I remember it because my mom said, yeah, get her, girl. Get him, girl. That's what she used to say. But seeing all those people did not make it feel important. They felt like celebrities. And let's make this clear, guys. That's what we get almost all the time now when it comes to TKO WWE. And I gotta say this before we get to the matches. If you haven't noticed, JD is not liking the current product. Neither's Jesse. They see it's becoming heavily advertise friendly and money friendly. I know one of you, you know who you are. You know you always say getting shot in the foot. Yes. You can say it. You can tell this into JD or Alex's chat if you want, if you're in their chat, because I'm not normally in their chat, because since I do these videos, I'm not usually in their chat. But you could tell them someone has been saying that WWE was heavily corporate before both of you. If they say, I've never thought it would get like this, I didn't think this was going to happen, you can tell them there was one guy who saw it more than a year that this was happening. And if they say no one did, you can tell them there was. Now, you don't have to line them up with any video unless they're saying you're lying. And I know what's going to happen. Let's make this very clear. If anyone says anything to Alex or JD about this, when they see my video and they say I sound like a damn fool, next to them saying my teeth look bad, particularly they are bad, my teeth are knocked out of place because of my wisdom teeth, they're going to say I sound like an idiot. Because let's make this clear. I've always said this. I never lied about it. I suck sometimes when I do my wrestling reviews. I either think I'm not talking enough, or I talk too much, or I botch too much, or I stick on one thing too long. But I am honest. And you can tell I'm an honest man. Said this more than a year ahead of y'all. There you go. But let's make this very clear. JD and Jesse noticed it's becoming very corporate. I feel a little exonerated. even though it shouldn't matter, but it does still make me feel good to see that other people are now seeing what I saw. And I know that was 5 minutes of me being long-winded. I'm sorry, I had to. I'm sorry, I had to. Let's get to the first match, which was a tag match. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus CM Punk and Sammy. Let me give it to you like this. It was not the match that was bad. Wasn't. I knew that Seth had to win. And if he didn't win, he could not get pinned. It had to be Braun. But I knew, and I did say this when Seth did what he did at WrestleMania. I said this. I knew the way Seth was going, he was going to create his own bloodline. Or in a basic sense, his own faction. And the wise man was going to be in his corner. I did say this, like a lot of other people did. I knew he was going to have at least 2 people there, maybe 3. We just got the second person in the Bronson Reed. He's finally back after his ankle got broken. He's finally back, and I'm so happy that he's back. He seems to be in great shape. He seems to be able to move around quick. And it was interesting because they set this up by commentary to say Bronson Reed managed to screw over Sammy and screw over CM Punk. And I'm surprised, and they're saying, I'm surprised that Bronson was going to even work with Seth, letting him hug him and then holding his hand up along with Braun Breaker. But it makes sense. Think about it for a minute. They say a lot about Seth, but he, in his own mind, did not lie because he believed that CM Punk was a cancer to the business. He needed to make sure he had what he needed to inject something into the business to counteract the cancer. Bronson's one of them. And pretty much Braun is the other. Now, I still do believe there's going to be one more person. Now, I do not think it's going to be his wife. It would be good if it was. It would be really good if it was Becky. But do I believe it? It's a very remote possibility. It would be the wisest possibility and the wisest thing to do because having both husband and wife on the same team in this situation actually would work well, but it depends if they want to go there. It depends. And I don't believe they will. But I do believe they will get one more person. I don't know if it'll be a woman, but it should be. Because they need a woman in the women's division to make it seem important. Next match. The match that was just... Look, let's make this very clear. You guys saw the ending of that match and seeing the nosebleed from Chelsea Green. You're going to say it, Zelina Vega can't wrestle. No. I know Zelina can wrestle, but she's no different than anybody else. She can botch. And the match itself was okay. But let's make it very clear. Chelsea is a better wrestler than Zelina. There's no lying about it. Here's Chelsea. Here's Zelina. That's the truth. But you can still get over and be good and be relevant even if you're like this. Now, people really do like Zelina Vega, particularly now her husband's there. They like her. But let's make this very clear. Did she botch her 619? Hell yes, she did. She botched that 619 badly. Next to Chelsea now putting her hand over her face to try and make sure that there wasn't any heavy contact. Zelina was supposed to put both her legs together and hit right where her shins are to the face of anyone that she wants to nail. Unfortunately, she had one knee out of place like this, and that one knee that was out of place like that nailed her straight to her nose, and she was bleeding profusely from her nose. Hopefully it's not broken, it's just a nasty nosebleed, but you can never know when someone makes a mistake like that. And she did. There's no way to lie it, there's no way to hide it, there's no way to justify it. She botched. She screwed up her 619. And I'm like, oh shit, did she actually nail her with the 619? Because when they didn't show when she nailed her, but I remembered, okay, she had to nail her somewhere during that match. And it looks like, from what I remember, it was somewhere before right around the time of the 619. Now, when this show was over, and there are places you can see certain parts of it, I went to check to see if I could see that scene where she might have nailed her in the nose. And I did. And she did hit her directly in the nose with a 619, one of her knees, like the point of her knee went straight to her face. And Chelsea, the only thing she did was move her hair away from her face, and they did not show at all the direct hit to her face. And I'm sure they must have saw it on camera because they were facing the hard cam and they were using one of the cameramen's shot instead of the hard cam, because I'm taking a guess they had the shot of her getting smacked in the face with the knee from a Selena Vega. Sadly, this is what we got. The steel cage match. Now I'm going to tell you this. This was the best match of the show. Makes it very clear. It was the best match of the show. Finally seeing, possibly, which I'm hoping, this feud coming to an end completely. And did they both look good? Yes, they did. But they kept it so condensed inside the ring. They didn't want to do any heavy spots or anything. They just wanted to pummel each other in that ring and make it as brutal as possible. Was the wisest thing to do. You need to do that when you're having a feud where you just want to hurt one another. Just jumping from the top of the steel cage is not always the wisest thing to do. The psychology of that match was that both of these guys just wanted to hurt each other as much as possible. And jumping from the steel cage was not going to be doing it like that. They're not going to go to the very top of the steel cage and just land splat. That was not the goal. Not saying they hadn't gone to the top, near the top of the steel cage, and one of them has fallen off, like on the ropes or on the chain link fence itself. But neither one of them went to the very top, as far as I remember, and tried to jump on top of the other. That did not happen. But what did we get? We got two chairs that were already included into the match before it started, and we got a clean 2-hit, not one, 2-hit concerto to Drew, who is like that. He done. And instead of pinning him, instead of climbing out outside the... you know, the reason I'm botching is because I'm thinking about Jesse the Body again, getting pissed off that you saw Damian Priest do 2 concertos and he wanted him to climb outside the cage. He wanted him to pin him. No, he just went to the door and he walked clean out. And Jesse he did not like that. He wanted a traditional win where either he climbs outside the cage or he pins him in the ring. That's what he wanted. But it was not about pinning him like a regular match or trying to get out of the cage like a regular match. Neither one of these guys was acting like a chicken shit. Basically, he just wanted to walk out to make it clear that one of them was going to walk out. It's going to be me. And I just walked out clean, even though he was limping. I will tell you, I didn't like... This was the best match of the night for me personally. It was. Now, let's make this clear. Final match of the night, because you know I'm going to the Cena one in a minute. But the final match, Jey Uso versus... Let me give it to you like this. I know a lot of people do not like Logan Paul, particularly what he did with his crypto schemes, because they were schemes, and what he did in Japan. Yes. I know. No one talks about it anymore, but let's make it clear. He has a history of doing some stupid ass things and screwing over people legitimately. But if you take that out of the equation, he's a damn good wrestler and he's a good damn character. Flat out, he is. And when they did the vid pack, I really felt a lot from him, because as much as you can't stand the damn Maverick's guts, he's a good damn pro wrestler that acts like an actual real to life heel. That's what you want in the business. And that's what he is. And did I believe he was going to win here? Hell no. You're not going to get Logan Paul winning here on Saturday night's main event. No. Not even if it was Tampa and the crowd was pretty hot. No. You're not going to get Logan winning here. You are going to get Jey winning here. But what did we get? Before that entire match, we get a little talk between Cena and Jey, because Cena went and spoke to Jey. And he said, you know what? I hope you understand the pressure. I don't think I'm going to deal with it very well, because next to me leaving with my damn title, and I will leave with it, you're going to lose to a YouTuber, which will destroy the business. You know what would really destroy the business? John Cena taking both titles and then leaving with them both. That would really fuck everything up in the business. I'm saying that. John Cena taking that title, the Undisputed title? No. He takes both titles. Night of Champions. John Cena versus somebody else. John does double work on both shows. He takes both titles home. And as I said before, pisses everybody off. But then gives TKO WWE exactly what they want. Which I believe that's what they really want. They want to get rid of both titles and start a real new era. I know we're going to go to John Cena and R-Truth in a moment, but let me say this honestly. I'm going to say this honestly. I don't believe this will happen, but this is what I really believe about TKO WWE. They don't care about the legacy. I don't care what anybody says about the wrestlers and the promote. Give it like this. This is not about Triple H. This is not about anyone who's working under Triple H who loves the wrestling business. This is not about them. This is about the executives of TKO WWE. And as you already know, I made a Gump report about it not being Ari Emanuel anymore. Ari does not own WWE anymore. He doesn't own Endeavor anymore. He doesn't own UFC anymore. That is now the property of Silver Lake. Silver Lake Investments, I believe. Or Global. Or Silver Lake Global. Or Silver Lake Investments. If you've never heard, I may leave a Gump report connection below, just in case you don't know. Company has now been sold, just in case you don't know, to a company called Silver Lake. And in my Gump report, yes, it's a little long-winded. I was just trying to be so precise about it. You now have Silver Lake. You got Endeavor Group Holdings, TKO Group Holdings, and WWE. There is no more Ari, and the company is owned by another company, which is owned by another company. But I truly believe, and I'm saying this with all heart, they don't care about the legacy of Vince McMahon. What I believe they really would like to do, this, I know they're not going to do it, but I would really think this is what they want to do. They want to use John Cena to retire both titles, to go them away, and produce new titles under the TKO banner to make it feel more like TKO, not feel like WWE. That's what I think they may want to, we would like to do, but I don't believe they will do it. Now, if they did do it, I wasn't surprised, but everybody else will be. Now, let's go to the Ron Cena versus John Cena match. Yes, I said it. I said it. This was not the best wrestling match. This was the most stupidest shit that made me laugh. Because you got Ron R-Truth Simmons. Go. Killing. Not Simmons. I'm thinking of Ron Simmons. Ron Killings. R-Truth. Coming out as Ron Cena. Yes, he had his own shirt. It's a guy in black. Says never give up. Basically, John Cena's other half. You got John as the Yang, white, and Ron as the Yang, black. Now you could say, wait a minute, John should be the Yang, and John should be, well, you know what I mean. I gotta say it right. John is Yang, Ron is Yin. White, black, but nah, let's just put it the way it is. It's not meant to be racist. It's just, you got black and white. Let's just say it. It's not being racist. It's just how they made it. This is what you see on the screen. You see John in a white with a shirt with a white man on it himself, and then you see Ron and a black man as himself. And it was basically, they were trying, basically, R-Truth was basically mirroring John Cena. I liked it. It made me laugh. And at one point, what did we get? John bringing a title. He looked like he's going to hit him. And R-Truth is looking at him, like, what are you doing? And he's looking at the title, going like this, going like this. Then he hands it to the ref, and R-Truth is going, yes, yes, bang to the nuts, a nice kick to the nuts, and he loses. Grabs his title, leaves, end. End. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Do I believe they shouldn't have done this here? Yes. Could they have set up R-Truth with John Cena to go to Money in the Bank? Yes. But would they? No. Due to the fact that R-Truth has always been a comedic wrestler. That's all he does. It's very rare you ever see R-Truth ever not act childish, silly, or crazy. It's very rare. The only time I saw him do that was before the Jimmy gimmick, when he was in the, I don't remember the arena, on SmackDown. He got pissed at a Mr. Sexy, Mr. John Morrison. And he was so pissed off, beat his ass, grabbed someone's smokes, and started smoking literally in the arena, which normally you don't smoke. He grabbed someone's smokes, started smoking. That was one of the rare times that you see a Ron Truth killing to be something different. And not try to do it in a way that's comedic. So that's what you got. So I didn't expect them to go any further than this. Sadly, I think it would be very interesting because you could actually move a R-Truth away from this. And for the first time in more than a decade, way more than a decade, I think 14 years, that he said, you know what, fuck this. He gets really angry and he says, and he goes in the ring, he says, you know what? Forget this. John, you were my friend. And I've always, you know me, I've always been the fun guy. I've always been this. You know what, everybody? Forget this. You're not looking at R-Truth anymore. You're looking at Ron Killings. I'm not going to be playing around now. John was legitimately my friend, and he screwed me over and insulted me twice by kicking me in my damn nuts. I'm now going to be serious. And then you see him not joke around and be really serious. And they go to Money in the Bank serious. But unfortunately, we're not going to get that. But it would have been nice to see. This wasn't a bad show. It wasn't bad. Was it funny? Yeah, with Ron Cena. There's no... You can't tell me you didn't laugh at Ron Cena. Come on, you had to laugh at least a little bit at Ron Cena. Is it great? No, but the show was good, particularly the steel cage match. And we got, not only did we get a Cody Rhodes back, which I'm sure many people saying, yeah, Cody's back, but now what? But Bronson Reed is now joined a Seth Rollins, which I'm cool with. I'm very happy, and I do believe they might get one more person, maybe. It would be wise to make it a woman, but I just don't think it's going to be Becky. But it's just me. Peace.